Hello, this is Tia from Geek Vibes Nation. Before I go into this video, I just want to say that there will be spoilers for season 2 of Peacemaker. So if you have not seen season 2 of Peacemaker and you haven't seen any spoilers, just keep that in mind. When David Ayer's Suicide Squad was released in 2016, the reviews were mixed. While the film was highly anticipated, the reception was not good. People really disliked Jared Leto's version of the Joker, the seemingly disjointed plot, and many other points. However, viewers really loved Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, Will Smith's Deadshot, and personally, I thought the soundtrack was great. However, there was one character who got labeled as boring and forgettable when I personally feel quite the opposite and did even back then. When Suicide Squad came out, I immediately liked the character of Rick Flag Jr. He was the quote unquote normal guy among the sea of weirdos, the man who was there for his country, forced to oversee a group of criminals. He discovers along the way that not everything is black and white, and the seemingly good guys that he's working for are in some ways more corrupt than the bad guys. At least the bad guys own it. I will never forget in the 2016 Suicide Squad when Amanda Waller just immediately started shooting all of those people who were working in that one room. I think that really showed that the quote unquote good guys are definitely willing to get their hands dirty, but somehow justify it. And I think that really like seeped into the character of Rick Flag. But anyway, I also really like the relationship that Rick Flag had with June Moon. It made him a man stuck between his duty and the love of his life. While some of the internet gravitated towards the pseudo friendship between Rick Flag and Deadshot, the majority of the internet found his character bland. And personally, that made me nervous when James Gunn took over. I feared that he'd feel the same way about Rick Flag and leave him behind. Luckily, Gunn didn't. He brought Joel Kinnaman back and allowed his character to stretch out more. He allowed Kinnaman to flex his acting skills, and not only was he more involved in the story, he almost became the center point to the film. While I was absolutely devastated by Peacemaker killing Rick Flag, Gunn didn't forget Flag. Instead, he made this moment the turning point for Chris Smith. Not only did Flag become unforgettable, he's essentially the beating heart of the Peacemaker show, even if it is posthumously. Gunn wants you to know that this man in this moment is so important that it became pivotal in Peacemaker's journey to becoming a better person. I feel like all throughout both seasons 1 and 2 of Peacemaker, that you consistently see the moment where Peacemaker kills Rick Flag, and Rick Flag's final words of Peacemaker, what a joke, really sit into Peacemaker's mind. And I think that really just burns him as a human being. And again, I think is just the turning moment for him. But not only that, the show shows that Rick Flag was unforgettable to the people around him too. We now have Rick Flag Sr., played by Frank Grillo, deciding revenge against Peacemaker for the death of his son. The latest episode of the Peacemaker show, episode 3, shows why Harcourt may never actually allow herself to fully care for Chris Smith, since we saw that she and Rick Flag were intimate just hours before his death. Plus, episode 3 of season 2 confirmed June Moon's existence within the DCU, so she and Flag were still together prior to the events of Corto Maltese. Will she ever decide revenge against the man who took Rick Flag away? Even Gunn bringing Kinnaman back to play a goofier version of Flag in the alternate dimension was great. It's really good to see that Gunn saw value in Joel Kinnaman and the character he played and brought him back to have such a pivotal role within his DCU. Now, I doubt that Gunn will actually ever bring his character back. Gunn kind of has a rule against doing that, and I think that showing how badly Peacemaker killed Flag in the Suicide Squad was to show people that, hey, there's no saving him from this. Unlike Peacemaker, who we at first didn't see actually be killed, I think that there was a lot more leeway for Gunn to bring him back and say, like, well, I never really showed him being killed, so he survived those, right? But we saw how badly Rick Flag was damaged, and I really thought as I was seeing it in the movies that this was James Gunn's way of telling us, I'm not bringing this man back. I mean, If he didn't bring Yondu back in the Guardians of the Galaxy because he felt that his sacrifice would have been tarnished by bringing him back, I feel that it's almost the same thing for Rick Flag. But if we got more flashbacks or even more of the alternate dimensions version of Flag, that would be cool too. I'm just really happy that the internet's perspective of this character has dramatically changed since 2016, and I think that it's all due to Gunn's treatment of Rick Flag. I remember being on the internet in 2016 and how people really just found him forgettable. So to see him at such a center point of the new DCU, I mean, this DCU is still new. And we see obviously what Gunn has kind of thrown away, but what he has kept. And it's episode 3 kind of confirms the existence of 2016 Suicide Squad. It's just all very interesting. And while this video is quite short, I have really appreciated the respect that James Gunn has put to Rick Flag's name. Again, even having Rick Flag Sr. come back and frequently talk about his son just really shows that this character mattered and should not have been viewed as the boring character that so many people regard him as in 2016. I'm really interested to see what we can see more of Rick Flag, if we'll see more of the alternate dimensions version of him, or if we'll even get more flashbacks. Because truly, that flashback in episode 3 was a treat and very unexpected. But I'd love to know what you guys think of this character. Have you always enjoyed Joel Kinnaman's rendition of Rick Flag? Did you dislike the character but ended up liking him due to the Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker series? Let us know. And if you have a moment, please make sure that you like and subscribe because we are trying to grow this channel and get to 10,000 subscribers, hopefully, maybe by the end of this year. Until then, my name is Tia. Thank you for listening to Geek Vibes Nation. And until next time, bye.